Hello, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. We got another Thursday night here. We're hanging out. We're doing a little movie club. I'm really excited to do this. Always have a good time jumping in, having some new guests in, and then also having a good time with anybody jumping in the chat with us and saying hi. So I'm not going to waste too much time here. We have two really great people I've been getting to know a little bit better through this whole social media thing. And both of them together are the Geek Girls Podcast. And we're going to bring out, we got first Angie.
Hello.
And we got Megan.
Hello.
Thank you both for doing this and jumping on my stream with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, totally.
I
know we've been talking about it for a while.
I know, but I think all of us were talking about too how life just gets the better of us and things get away, and all of a sudden you're like,
I feel lifing.
exactly. And then we're like, oh, we just talked about that. My classic thing is like, oh, we just talked about doing that the other day, and it's like, oh no, that was 3 weeks ago, bud. And you know, that's how I kind of roll with it, but I don't know how it happens with you all. But.
Time is irrelevant.
Yeah. It feels like it more and more every day. It feels like that way. But
half the time I got to remember what month we're in, so there's.
Oh gosh. I can't.
Well, it doesn't help that the months fly by.
Absolutely. So we're like halfway through September.
95 degrees in September. I mean, what is that? What am I in, Florida?
Yep. We're almost October. We need some chilly hoodie sweater type weather to get going.
Agreed.
That's my time of year, right?
I'm just
so
saying,
Megan's agreeing.
I'm just saying if I don't get to wear a sweater this year, I'm gonna have words with Mother Nature.
I went. Go ahead, Megan.
I was gonna say we're going camping in October, and if I do not have my sweater weather during camping, I'm gonna be very mad.
Oh, absolutely. I gotta have a little period of time where I have hoodie, jeans, and I can sit out at a campfire without having like a big old winter coat on and stuff. Give me 2 or 3 weeks of that. I don't think I'm being like really picky, but I don't know. Maybe
I want 2 months. I don't care.
Oh,
I am unashamedly. I'm like, I really think that I should have been born in September, October, because I am like all about autumn. Like it's my favorite time of the year.
I just figure my family should have like been further north than what we are right now. So
same.
I'm just slightly north of you both, and so we were talking about that, and so maybe someday I wouldn't mind meeting up with a few of you, even with a couple guys. Even a couple guys
have like a huge
that
meetup.
I met you through,
cool.
You know?
Yeah,
so.
That's true. Cool. That's true.
I think the first time I ran into both of you was on Two Geeks and a Microphone, right?
Yep.
Probably.
If I'm saying that right.
As I say, our parent pod.
Yeah, right. So that's how I came across you the first time. And I'm like, oh, that'd be fun sometime, because you were throwing out, you got some,
you got some
gear there.
I literally almost were. Plug
away.
I had to wear ours.
Plug away. plug both of them.
I can't find my one for our podcast, so but I have a hoodie.
Hey, you got both covered. Between the two of you, you have both of them covered.
I put it in a safe spot, and then my safe spot went into the void.
Oh gosh, I forget where my safe spot is a lot of times, and so then I'm just like,
I don't know about you guys, but I have like 50 safe spots.
Yeah,
because
that doesn't help.
ADHD.
Yeah,
it's a thing, y'all.
So that's what someday, actually, I think it'd be kind of fun, because not giving away information or anything like that, but I think we figured out my son is not too far away from your area, and you all were throwing out a store that you visit, or at least you two, or the parent podcast or YouTube channel was throwing out with some board games, comics, and
it's awesome.
And
definitely my
I was
favorite.
like, man, I would like to visit that someday. And like, hey, maybe someday when I go down to visit him and I go check that out, if any of you all want to meet up there and do that, I think that'd be a fun.
I'd be like this, crap, Corey's coming, hurry, hide.
You're like, no, we don't live there anymore.
I'm a Sick.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
Sorry.
don't know what to tell you, bud.
I'll be like, I don't buy that because I use that for work all the time and I know it's fake. So no, just kidding. So that being said, it's kind of cool having a local store around you
Yeah.
that feeds
Well, technically
some
we have
of your.
two.
Okay.
Because we have the one that we always go to, which is like, I don't know, 15. It's not even that far away. It's like 10 minutes or something from us. That is called, so it's Fantasy Books Incorporated. Is that their official title?
No, it's Fantasy Books and Games.
Is it? Okay. Because I know I have an old shirt that says like FBI and it's Fantasy Books Incorporated or something. But they don't like refer to that anymore. It's always Fantasy Books and Games. But anyways, there's that one. And then the only other one that I like besides that one that's my absolute favorite is called Vintage Stock, or V Stock for short.
Okay.
And they have one in St. Louis, and then they have one in the mall by us. And that one I like because, you know, I like nostalgia stuff, obviously. Hence the reason why we're doing our podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so they have like old school console games. They have like old movies, and they have records, which I'm a massive records fan. And so it's like stuff that's from like 30 plus years ago that if you're trying to look for it, V-Stock normally has it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I've heard of that store before, so that must have a chain around a little bit because
I
don't
they've
have
got
one around
3
me.
or 4 stores.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So no,
they also
cool.
have swords.
What's that?
Oh yeah.
They also have swords. I actually have tucked away in a corner over here. I have a sword from a anime called Sword Art Online.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's really
I've had
cool.
that for a while.
Just another thing you like to collect, right?
No, I only have one sword.
In the group.
That's more expensive. Because that sword was like $100.
Well, and I think all of us, and I've been hearing a lot of people in similar situations in the collecting community, whether you're physical media like movies or music, or pops like you have behind you, Megan, or the sword, or comics or what have you.
Or like this.
Or like that.
I got
this.
I got that from this is Peggy Carter as Captain Britain. I got that there. So it was a little expensive. It was almost $28, but I was like, it's worth it.
that's the thing. I think all of us are feeling that everything is jumping up in price, and you kind of have to be even more selective. Not that you weren't before, but just at least that's where I've kind of been landing. And I know a lot of people I'm talking to is doing that. So do you feel that as well? Just like prices are jumping up and you love collecting, but you're kind of backing it off a little bit, or just making sure what you buy, that's something you're super passionate about?
I mean, I feel like most of those things, the pops have stayed pretty consistent.
Sure.
In price, because I mean, I want to say they only maybe about $2 more than whenever I started, which was years and years ago.
Cool.
Because like I remember them being only like 12 to 13, but it also depends on where you go. Because if I buy a pop at the mall, it's going to be expensive. If I buy, compared to if I buy that same pop at our comic book stores, it's going to be like $2 to $3 cheaper than if I buy it at Hot Topic at the mall or Box Lunch or any of those.
For sure.
Unless I get one from like V-Stock or Slackers or all the discounted price stores.
Sure.
Yeah, the beginning and the end of the month is when I like to go, because that's when they have their sales. And if you sign up for their text messages, you'll get a discount as well, which is really cool.
Angie, I saw you running there. Did you grab something to show?
Oh, no. I scratched myself, so I'm trying to...
Oh, okay. Sorry. Next topic. We're moving on.
I'm very clumsy. So,
I'm right there with you. So many times I wake up and I'm like, where did I get that bruise from? And
okay, so I have a scratch mark on my finger here. And I was coming home from a thing that I volunteer with, and I was like, where the heck did I get that?
No, that's fine. I thought you were running to show a pop off or something that Megan started talking about. So I will shut my mouth and we will move on to the next one.
I will say though, like it's I never got into like I watched like cartoons and whatever growing up, but I never got into like comics or anything like that until like really 10 years ago or something. And so I started getting into comics. My very first one right out of the gate was Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel.
Okay.
And so I started reading that, and things have gotten so expensive. And then just the way that they change the stories every time you turn around, I'm just like, I think I'm done. I'm just like, that's way too expensive. Like it's what used to cost me, because I always liked getting the trade issues, so I didn't have to like every time I turn around, go back there. It was like every other day or something.
Yeah.
Hi, Steven.
So I got the trade issues. Hey, Steven's here. Speaking of Two Geeks and
Oh, sorry. I will get into the chat here just a second. I didn't want to cut you off. But.
No, it's good. But yeah, so what normally, like, I think it costs me like $13 or $14 now to get a trade issue. It's cost me like $17 or $18, and I'm like, yeah, that's all right. I'm good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I can understand that. So I tell you what, that being said, let me jump into the chat just real quick. We'll run through.
No,
I know I've fallen behind, but I get excited about talking about to my, new guests that are jumping in here. So
yeah.
But we'll see what we got here. We got Magic Hands in here saying, "What's up, everybody?"
Hey.
Holland saying, "Hey, Wilk and Geek Girls."
What's up?
Adrian saying, "Hi there, hello there."
Cool.
Gizmo is giving Holland a hard time. Stop for it, Harden. I see you.
That's so funny. That's
you gotta
hilarious.
keep an eye on Gizmo. He's the troublemaker out of the group. And the original cool kid, Johnny, saying, "What's up, cool kids?"
What's up? That's awesome.
Saying hi to Comrade Gizmo.
That's so funny.
Hey, Bonnie, how we doing? We got Mama Blu-ray in here saying hi to Johnny.
Awesome.
I fell way behind here. Whew. Sorry.
I know it's just like going really quick, and so I'd look over every so often.
Yeah, no, I'm still learning the art of balancing the two things. Talking.
It's not easy.
Nope.
No.
And not easy for me, apparently. But,
that's why we're the moderators for Two Geeks and a Microphone.
There you go. There you go. It's nice to have some mods there. Laren is
So funny.
in here saying, "Hey, Will, Angie,
cool.
Megan, good evening."
Nice.
Tiana saying, "Hey, everyone."
Awesome. Hey, guys.
Eli, what's going on, man? Saying, "What's up, Corey and
Cool.
everyone." Mama Blu-ray, Bonnie is saying hi, Corey and gals.
Awesome.
So we get a lot of highs back and forth. I love them. If I miss anybody's,
Cool.
it's not on purpose. Just kind of running through these real quick, but love trying to at least touch on everybody that's jumping in here. So
thank you guys for showing up.
Oh, absolutely. I always get thrilled that somebody shows up each time I do this. So
You definitely have a lot more people than we do, but that's because we're just starting out.
it's all relative. It's all relative. But I'm super happy. I've been blessed with a lot of fun people jumping in, and
that's cool. Yeah. I love watching your videos. They're really cool.
Oh, I appreciate it very much. Johnny remembers still 4 days till the red leader gives us permission to talk to each other. No,
that's hilarious.
He likes to give me a hard time.
Yeah.
He likes to give me a hard time.
Oh, that's so funny.
Run through some of the highs. I'm gonna try to go fast so we can kind of keep up here. But what a way to wake up in the morning, Prince. I know it's early morning for you, man.
Oh man, is he over in like London or something?
No, he's like, oh, Prince, you're gonna get mad at me. I want to say Philippines.
Oh, cool. Nice.
But he's gonna get mad at me because I'll probably get it wrong. Prince, it's not on purpose. I just have stupid old guy brain, and
That's so funny.
So
nice.
Hi to everybody. I'm running through these kind of quick, but at least I want to stop on the people like Nikki right here saying good evening, everyone.
Oh, cool. Hey, how's it going?
I'll throw out. She's my honorary mom, so I say hey, mom to her. Usually.
That's so cool.
So. Good friend of mine, her son Jeff has a YouTube channel that he's got going on too.
Oh, cool.
John Doe Juggalo. So
Nice.
that's one thing I'll say. I'm going to run through the chat here too to keep up with everything. But I'll say a lot of people in the chat, if you don't recognize their name, go check them out. A lot of people in here have content they're putting out, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram.
I will definitely check that out.
And I will also say, my two lovely guests I have on here tonight, I have a YouTube and Instagram link at least in the description of this video. So go check them out as well.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody, same with me. I'm still a very small YouTube channel, and a lot of times it's hard for new people to come across you. And just check it out. It might be your next favorite channel. And doesn't cost you anything.
Don't even watch regular television anymore. All I watch is YouTube.
It seems like that's me most of the time too.
Yeah.
Mika, how we doing? Mika's in here saying, hey, Corey and ladies.
Oh, cool. Hey, how's it going?
Got back and forth. Sorry, I'll try to catch up here real quick and we'll keep going. You're going to be like, you ran out of your time already, Corey. And I'm just stumbling through
all
chat.
the people. Thank you.
But honestly,
thank you.
Well, that's that's why I've leaned into the live stream more. I have fun.
Yeah, actually this season, because we just started season 2, we're actually not going live except for once a month, which tonight is our live. We're just because our schedules are so crazy and stuff. So we've just been uploading for this season to the podcast platform. And then with Facebook being silly on like, you need this many followers. And it's like, well, I mean, like I'm trying,
Yeah.
So, so we haven't been posting it on Facebook anymore, but yeah, so we, like I said, we were only doing to YouTube and Twitch once a month. And then the rest of the time, it's just going to be each week we'll have our podcast that will come out. Okay. So, which I'm usually pretty good about getting out, but every so often I get a little crazy busy. But it's usually like Mondays and Tuesdays is whenever we premiere our podcast. So yeah, and that's on iTunes. See if I can remember. iTunes. It is on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and then Podbean, which is our main hub.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Yep. I haven't jumped into the podcasting thing at all. I'm having trouble juggling what I'm doing right now, but
right.
I know you both were getting into a busy time of year, and we're pulling back a little bit, I think. But so what do you see coming up when you get through the busy season here? What do you want to do with the channel, the two of you, the podcast, the channel, YouTube, anything? What do you see coming up?
Megan, you want to start? Because I think we just like coming on here and talking,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a clear plan.
No,
yeah. I don't either.
Kind of
so
going
don't
in blind.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. What do you want to do today?
Do you want to talk? Okay. That's pretty much how I go. So
yeah. I'm one of those that I'll have like a tentative plan and I'll be like, we're probably going to change this, but for my own sanity, let's pretend like this is what we're going to talk about for this season. And then we'll just go from there.
Yep, absolutely.
So, but no, I know before summer hit, I was doing a lot of streaming on Twitch because I like to play World of Warcraft, which is a computer game, multiplayer computer game. And so I love playing that. I was trying to get into Baldur's Gate, but that was rough. Yeah. So I took a break from that. But I like to play a lot of computer games, and so I had started out just like doing that and trying to like get my name out there for that one. And then, like I said, we just like talking about all kinds of, so for those who don't know, our channel, we talk about all things like nostalgia. And since Nostalgia Critic is out there, I'm trying to stay away from saying nostalgia. But like basically I was born in 87 and grew up in the 90s. She was born in the early 2000s, or she was born in the 90s, grew up in the early 2000s.
I was born in 96. Thank you very much.
Listen, I'm sorry, okay?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you both made me feel really, really old. So keep talking, but go ahead.
Anyways, so I grew up in the 90s, she grew up in the 2000s, but because I was like raised around my grandparents, I kind of have a very eclectic taste when it comes to movies and music and all that kind of stuff. And so we have a lot of similar tastes, but then we're also really different. And when I started moderating on her dad's podcast, which her dad is Mike from the Two Geeks and Microphone.
Yep.
For those that didn't know. So I started modded on there and I was like, you know, I think this would be fun to do, you know? And so after coming back from Europe, which I spent 3 months in, fantastic. Then we were talking and I was like, I want to, because I love talking about all kinds of like classic stuff and whatever, we just decided that would be our theme, is to talk about stuff from like the, you know, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then, you know, some stuff from today, but like we would primarily stick to those type of things, just because, you know, it's fun to talk about and reminisce and all that kind of stuff, you know. Sure. So that's basically what we do on our podcast, is talk about like classic Disney, classic Nickelodeon, you know, different shows. I'm super duper excited because we both really like Halloween. And so we're going to be talking about like Disney Halloween. But what I'm really looking forward to is talking about like some of the classic like movies from the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, like The Shining and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be talking about all that kind of stuff in October. And so that's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, it's always a good time.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, I'm going to do a speed run. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat here real quick. Sorry.
This is why you need a moderator.
Every time I feel like I'm better at this, I feel like I'm worse at it. So, but just hang in with me. We got Anthony in here saying, what up? Anthony, thanks for jumping in here. I'm going to jump past a lot of the highs back and forth. So like I said, I apologize for missing anybody. Just trying to keep track on time here. So if I miss something, if there's a question that you have for the Geek Girls or myself, and I miss it, please throw it out there again. I'm going to try to...
I can skim through here and see if I see you too.
We got Guy in here saying, Caveman is saying, hey there, everyone. Please make sure to hit the like for the gorgeous people on the panel.
Awesome.
And Corey too.
Wow.
Is that a definition of a backhanded compliment?
Maybe so.
The gorgeous people and Corey.
And Corey too.
Hey, I'll take it. Whatever.
Oh, that was so funny.
Miss Caveman is in here saying good
that's
evening,
hilarious.
Everyone. Hey, we kind of go by if we don't kid, we don't care kind of a thing. But.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, if I'm not messing around with you, then apparently I don't really like you.
Something's wrong. Jeff saying hi.
I do see a question right here
I'll try.
that I want to answer.
Where Steve, I'll say hi to Steve, Excelsior Movie Reviews, but
yeah, it's like
I might be way down. Maybe I'm past. I haven't gotten to it yet.
It's from Happy Crotimus, I guess. Is how you pronounce it?
Okay. Yep. I'll get there.
You see it?
I'll try to get there. Prince. His name's
You're
Prince.
like, hold on, I'm going.
Yep, I'm going. Come on. Don't rush me. Come on.
While you're going through the comments.
Yeah. So, like, from about a half hour ago, Steven's in here saying, what's up,
we
Corey,
finally
Megan,
made it to his comment.
Not a half hour, just 13 minutes, maybe.
I mean, you know, 27 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you. But one of the gentlemen that their YouTube channel that I met you two through. So,
Yep.
So that's very cool. A Okay, I'm running. I'm trying.
But yeah, so while you're looking at all those.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, so growing up, the closest, like, as far as nerddom goes, or geekdom, whatever you want to call it, as I always loved to watch, like, I would get up on Saturday mornings and I would watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with my stepbrother. And then I would watch like X-Men and all that kind of stuff. So that was like the extent of my geekiness.
Okay.
And then I was more of like the type of person where I was like into music. Like I love music. And I'll listen to almost anything. But then, like I said, 10 years ago when I had met my ex, he's like a big nerd. He loves, comics, and he's got like one of the, you know who Richard Knack is?
No.
I want to say, I'm going to get this wrong, and I apologize to the internet, but I feel like it's like Dragonlance or something that he did. And so anyways, my ex was like big into all his books. And so he's got like tons and tons of like books on Richard Knack, and they actually made like graphic novels for World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And so that's when I started kind of like diving deep into it. And it's hilarious because his brother got me into Dungeons and Dragons. And if you guys have ever been on Two Geeks and a Microphone, I'm a massive Dungeons and Dragons fan because that's all I ever talk about.
Yeah.
So he got me into that, and then my ex got me into World of Warcraft. And I tell him, I'm like, you guys created a monster, because now I'm like so addicted.
you got all the dice now?
Oh my goodness. So I started watching Critical Role, and it was like right when they were wrapping up their first campaign on YouTube. And I had walked in one time, and I told my ex, I was like, what in the world are you watching? And he's like cracking up laughing. And I'm like, what the heck? And he was like, it's Dungeons and Dragons, but it's on here and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, then when they started their second campaign, I was just like, oh, this looks cool. And I watched like the first 2 episodes of the new campaign, and I got so addicted. And Laura Bailey, who is at that table, but she also does the voice of Jaina from World of Warcraft, among other things. She has like a massive addiction to dice, and she has like so many dice. And so she'd be showing them on air, and I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's pretty. And so then I was like, damn you, Laura Bailey. And so now like I want all the dice. You gotta buy. Yeah. So I actually bought her dice bag, and now my goal is to completely fill it up.
Yeah. No, it's so yeah. Yeah, me collecting physical movies, I have run into that a lot, where people will get some new fancy release or steelbook.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, now I got to go buy that thing. So
right. Yeah.
Maybe this is a question you were talking about earlier, but Prince was saying, okay, right off the bat, question: how did you come up with Geek Girls as your podcast name?
Well, Megan kind of just jumped along for the ride. I kind of just like pulled her in and was like, hey, you should do this with me. But I wanted something kind of similar to Two Geeks and a Microphone. And I forgot what the original name was, but it was after Two Geeks had done their show that I was like trying to figure out a way to come up with the name. And Mike was like, why don't you roll for it? And I was like, why didn't I think about that? So it was like, if it was 15 or lower, it was going to be whatever name that I had decided. And then if it was like 16 or higher, then it was going to be Geek Girls Podcast. And so I wind up getting like a 17, which is rare for me, because I always say that I have the curse of Will Wheaton, unless it's like me trying to like check for traps. and so I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, well, I guess that's what we're going with.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So yeah, I blame the dice, and I can't even remember what the old name
was.
I
don't remember either.
but
That's
I
gonna
mean, it
bother
wasn't a
me now.
bad name. Yeah, right. It wasn't like a bad
You'll
name or
remember
anything,
it
but
about 2 minutes after we log off this.
Right.
right,
So
we'll be like, oh yeah, that's what it was.
you'll
So
message me, Corey, it was this.
yeah, I'll be like, I remember.
Yeah, that's how it goes for me all the time.
Yeah.
Lauren is asking, is this simulcast? So it's on mine, but we have it opened up. So Geek Girls Podcast are throwing it out on their YouTube. So maybe
Yep.
you're watching it on that at this time. So, but yes, it is on multiple
platforms.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
We got Liv in here saying hi. Hello, Liv.
Cool.
Thanks for jumping in here. Lauren can't get over it being that way, saying crazy.
That's so funny.
And Mika said, love the name.
Oh,
of the
thank
podcast."
you. Thank you. Yeah. And like, I think if I was to say, like, if there was going to ever be, like, if I had some kind of vision for our podcast, which I don't know if this will ever happen or not, but like the idea of, you know, if this is really successful, it would be kind of cool to have more people on just besides her and I. So that way it's, you know, more geek girls,
Oh, yeah.
to our show. Like that would be kind of cool, but I'm not gonna like hold my breath for it, you know. Like at this point, I'm just trying to create content.
No, absolutely. I'm there too.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm gonna say hi to Mark real quick. That was jumping in
Hey,
here
how's it
saying what's
going?
up, everyone. So with that being said, I have a couple questions I'm gonna jump into, but first, I'm gonna say hi to Reed too. Spicy 4K action. Hi, Reed. How are we doing?
nice.
I like saying hi to people when they walk in the door, you know. So first of all, I'm going to say, Megan, you got the huge wall of pops behind you, and I was going to ask you about it a little bit before we got going, but before I get into questions for both of you on your podcast and some of your interests, I guess I'm curious, like what got you started into pops? Are there specific ones that you're aiming for, or are you kind of all over, or what's going on with your pop collection?
So if because I have my laptop and I'm sitting in my room, so I'll just kind of I have kind of a random plethora of pops. I want to say, I still can't remember what it really started with. Probably Harley. My second to bottom row
I wonder
is all
why.
Harley. Yeah. I'm a big Harley nut. I love Harley Quinn. So I have like almost every version of Harley that there is of pops, except for the new ones for like the cartoon, because I haven't watched the cartoon. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But I love the original Harley. I actually have one of them on a little stand that I can't think of words. That it's like a floating stand.
Okay.
So I've got one of them opened because I don't open many of them because I hope to eventually move, and I figure it'll be easier to move with boxes than out of box pops.
Sure.
So it's not a I'm just a avid collector and want them in the box. I'm not like one of those people. They will eventually go out of the box when I have the chance to actually display them properly. Yeah. But for now, they stay in the boxes. But
so what Harley, you have behind you? How much is that of your collection? Is it like a small little fraction, or?
I don't know. Technically, it's majority of the collection because I also have.
No, that's good. That's a lot of them. I'm not. Yeah.
I've got this whole side is like stacked 2 or 3 each. I think 2. So I've got those, and then I have other ones that I just don't. I have a bunch of them in the computer room from when we did when we talked about anime, because I pulled out most of my anime ones, except for the bottom row of my, because the bottom row is My Hero Academia. But all my other anime ones are in my computer room. I've got a couple more Disney ones that I haven't found a place for. But I think a good majority of them are behind me.
Okay.
I also have, there's a two boxes up at the very top. It's hard to see for custom pops that I have of Hades and Persephone from a webcomic. Those were expensive, but worth it.
All of us collectors fall into that. It's expensive, but it's worth it. Kind of.
Yeah.
For
it's also me with hoodies.
Okay. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I could be there too.
Me and my hoodies. I have way too many hoodies. Like, yeah, it's kind of a sick obsession of mine.
I would say hoodies and pops are my
those
major.
are your two.
Yeah.
Your two weaknesses. Hey, you got to have a couple of them. I know, like I said, I ran into both of you on, the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. And I know you started leading into that with how you came up with Geek Girls podcast. But how did you two meet up and decide you want to do a podcast together, a YouTube channel together?
You want to share that, Meg, or you want me to?
I mean, we didn't really meet up about it. Angie and I have known each other for
a really long time.
Yeah.
And when she wanted to branch off, she kind of was just like, "Hey, will you do this with me? Because I don't want to do it alone."
Yeah, because
I kind of just got roped into it.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I was just like, the idea of, well, first of all, the idea of doing a podcast, I was like, oh my God, my voice is going to be like out there in the ether where like everybody and their mom can hear me. Like, what? And then when I had thought about doing the whole live and stuff like what Mike and Steven do, I'm like, man, now I gotta like put some like actual clothes on. I can't wear pajamas or you know what I mean?
Oh, sure you can.
I mean, you know, I'm sure there's some podcasts out there that are like that, but that's not me. But I was just like, hey, you should do this with me. This would be fun.
And the rest is history, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. So, but I will say that I want to thank like Steven and Mike because they kind of gave me the confidence. This is something that ironically, this is something that I've been thinking about for like the last 5 years, but I never knew like, how to get into something like this. I'm not like super duper techie. I know like basic stuff, but I'm not like super techie. And so I was like, when her dad had asked me, hey, you want to be a mod on our show? I was like, sure, why not? Yeah. I was like, what do I do? And he was like, you just, read the comments and whatever. And so, but from being on there and from watching them, it kind of gave me enough confidence to be like, okay, I can bare minimum do a podcast because, I don't have to know like all the tech stuff. And, all I have to do is like record my voice and then put it out there,
Yeah.
And so, because the original podcast that I was going to do was kind of like an interview style, kind of similar to like what you do. But it was like called the Round Table or something crazy like that. Because I wanted it to kind of be like growing up, my grandma had this massive round table and like we would always like just sit at her kitchen table and like drink coffee or tea or whatever and just talk about literally anything and everything. And so that was like my original, but I was like, I don't know about that because, being by myself, I'm like, that makes me nervous and whatever. And at least having somebody else there, it kind of gives it a better dynamic in my personal opinion because you have somebody to bounce your stuff off to instead of it just being your voice out there,
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So yeah.
No, I can see that for sure. So I've heard you both talk about so many different things, anything from video games to cartoons to classic TV shows, which we might get into a little bit later. But for each of you, this will be a question for both of you. Is there any first video game or cartoon or TV show or movie that really sparked your interest into, the geek culture that you're digging into now with your podcast?
Right. Well, I know for me, like I said, it was World of Warcraft and Dungeons and Dragons. That was kind of that was my first taste of the geekdom because, growing up, I grew up in like a really, really small town. I think we had like, I don't know, 1,200 people or something, which seems like a lot, but it's really not. And I mean, I'm sure there was probably more than that. Just in the immediate area where I was, like, there wasn't a whole lot of people. Yeah. And so I didn't have a whole lot of friends and whatever. And so meeting this massive community that, for the most part, is welcoming. It was like really cool for me, and I felt like, oh, cool. I found people that share in the same interest that I do, and whatever, and like, I don't know, it just, to me, it was very welcoming and stuff like that. And so then, talking to other people, especially on our show, there's a couple friends of mine that has come on, and we've talked about, they're massive Nickelodeon fans. And so we've talked about like the old game shows and stuff like that. And so that kind of stuff is super fun to me because, growing up, when you live in a small town, there's not a whole lot of people to talk to. Sure. And so, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, hey, they like this too, so I don't know. It's kind of cool. But yeah, that was mine.
Megan, you got anything that jump started you?
I kind of grew up with it being being really close to my dad. Yeah. But being that I've always been really close with my dad. I would say Powerpuff Girls and Teen Titans were my start to it. Because I mean, both of those shows were things. Both of those shows were the shows that I watched religiously with my dad. Like every week, every new episode, we were both watching them. And that's what we bonded over, among other things. But in the geeky sense. Yep. Geek nerd.
It's fun to have those moments together. When my son was younger, one of the things that I remember watching through with him that I got into because he started watching it and we were hanging out watching it together was The Last Airbender.
Nice.
It was on Nickelodeon, I think, at the time it was running.
Yeah.
But
my cousin was into that.
But so it's fun to have that connection, something fun to watch and go through. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of fun, we got, I'm going to run through a couple more comments real quick. And a fun one, Gizmo is saying, Corey's just jumping over all the important comments they've seen. He hates us. He wants us to burn. He called me a he-witch and told me to write the man downstairs a message. I don't think I said that to you, Gizmo. I appreciate your enthusiasm. And thank you for being here. He always keeps me on. You got to have some people keep you on your toes, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Saying hi to Rob Romano. How's it going, man? Saying what's up, Reed?
Nice.
Evening, ladies.
Awesome, I like his name.
Yeah,
Lost
Rob
Boy.
Romano. Yep.
It's pretty cool.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was another one that like really was before. Sorry to age everybody. Really was before both of our time that we are like massive fans of. We love The Lost Boys. It's like one of our favorite movies.
Oh, that's a good one.
I grew up watching that movie like every year.
Yeah.
It's fun for sure.
Yeah.
Just like Liv saying, crop tops and VHS tapes for me. Yep, there you
go.
Nothing wrong with either.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of crop tops, y'all. Oh, sweet Christ. Have you been to Walmart recently? I'm just
no,
saying.
I haven't.
Oh, it's like
I don't get out much at all.
Lately. It's so visceral. Like I will go there and I'm just like, what year are we in? Like they have no lie. They have like the jean skirts, they have the crop tops, they have like remember back in the day, all the like, girls that wore the bandana tank top things.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
like, I'm like looking around and I'm just like, what is happening right now? It's so scary.
They're just letting you have a good time. You're enjoying it, right?
I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, the TRL, like all the like baggy, like, corduroy pants or whatever you want to call them, that they used to wear. I just saw those at Walmart last weekend and I'm like, what is happening right now?
It all comes back around.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna say hi to Del real quick, saying what's up. Thanks for jumping in
Hey,
here,
how's it
man.
going?
Adrian
Cool.
James in here saying hi to everybody.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm running. I try to get better at this, but I always feel like I'm so bad at it. But we got Larry, the horror cat dad, in here saying hi to everybody.
Nice. Yeah, so
I
that's
think
something
that's-
new that we're going to be doing this year. Is we just talked about it, and I don't do horror movies. And now I have to preface with the fact that when I was 4 years old, this was right before my mom met my stepdad, so we were living with my grandparents. My grandpa and I would, because I was a big grandpa's girl, we would sit down every night and he would open up a can of sardines, which he would open up a can of sardines and we would sit and watch horror movies. Now, granted, my mom worked nights, so she didn't know anything about this till I was 7. And I was like, oh, I want to go see Freddy Krueger. And she's like, you're too young to watch that. And I'm like, I watched that last week with my grandpa. And she's like,
I thought you were
like,
going to
no wonder
say.
you're having nightmares.
I thought you were going to say she would never have approved of sardines, but the
Well,
horror
she thought
movies-
that was she thought that was pretty gross too, but she's like, whatever. But no, I watched like a whole bunch of horror movies with my grandpa when I was like 4 and 5 years old. And so now, like, and I'm such a visual person, that like when I go to watch a lot of horror movies, to me, they're either like just really, really lame, or like it's one of those things where like it's too graphic or something like that, and then
Yeah.
I wind up having nightmares for like weeks on end. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. I already have trouble sleeping. I don't need a horror movie to help me with that.
Right.
And,
No.
yeah.
And it's different for everybody. I know a couple people
yeah.
that will watch like graphic, crazy horror movies before they go to
Mhm.
bed. And I'm not like overly
Why?
sensitive, but I'm like, I can watch a horror movie, but then there's some I'm like, I probably wouldn't watch that
Yeah.
one right before I go to bed. And they're like, oh, no,
Right.
no problem. You know?
Now I am the
Depends.
weirdo. Yeah, I am the weirdo that likes the murder mystery and psychological thrillers.
Oh, the true
Which-
horror or the true
Yeah,
crime
true
type of
crime.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really
Now,
popular
so-
right now. That's
so-
really popular right now.
So I mean, it's kind of like trading lesser
Yeah.
evils type, thing. But
That's probably even creepier
I
because
like
those are real
both.
things.
see, and that's the thing for me. I'm just like, even though it's like that could actually happen in real life,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just like, man, this is so good. But in saying all that, like talking to Meg, there's gonna be a couple movies that I told her, I was like, here's your line. And I'm like, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to watch a couple of them.
Yeah.
So on our Discord channel, we're gonna try to set it up where when people join our Ko-fi page, they automatically get into our Discord, and we're gonna try to set it up so that way we can do like a watch along. So that's gonna be fun. Me watching a couple horror movies because I'm just so like that's not my thing, but I'm willing to do it.
So Megan's more horror movies than you,
Yep.
Angie? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I was trying to
love
figure that
horror.
out there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What was the one movie you were telling me about? And I was like, yeah, that's a hard pass for me. It was, oh man, it wasn't Winnie the Pooh. What was it that you and your dad went to go see? And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good.
What have we seen
It wasn't Winnie.
recently?
There was Winnie. Oh, was it The Grinch? Maybe. I can't remember.
That doesn't come out yet.
Oh, okay. Well, all I know is there was one where it's like a classic tale, like Winnie the Pooh, but it's a horror. And I'm like,
Pooh,
yeah, I
Pooh,
can't.
Blood and Honey.
I refuse to watch that.
There's the two of them for that. I haven't seen.
Yeah,
them
there's
yet.
a second one coming.
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, no, I love that movie. Like all of the Winnie the Pooh stuff. And I'm like, no, that's where I draw the line.
I just went Tuesday night to watch with a friend Speak No Evil, the remake that they did of
Was that
with
good?
James McAvoy. So I enjoyed it, but I know some people don't. This going into it, just know it's a slow burn. It takes a bit, but I say though, that last act, that final act, when the crazy kicks in, the pace goes
nice.
nuts,
See, that's what I love about him is like there comes a point in some of his movies when he plays the crazy person, where like he just like turns and then you're like, oh, so this is happening. Wow, this is really happening. Like it's just so quick. Oh, he does such a good job in those type of movies.
The one with the family that's like staying with another family in the cabin.
Yeah, where the
I want to see that.
Tongue is,
yeah.
And so it's crazy. It's a remake already.
Yeah,
from an international film
or something like that, right?
I didn't know that.
Like a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah.
The most, and it's on.
I think it was Australia.
Well, no, I think it was Europe. I either way. I saw it's on Shudder, and so I got to watch that one now to compare the two because I have that. But
right.
It's creepy for sure. Slow to get going, but when the crazy kicks in, it goes for it. Yeah. It kicks in.
That's cool.
Good.
But yeah, this is the difference between her and I. She'll watch like Hellraiser or something crazy like that.
I have never seen Hellraiser.
Okay, I'm just using an
for
example.
The record.
Just I'm using an example. So she'll watch those kind of movies, but then I'm over here like, nah, give me like Secret Window, give me, like some of these where like you can't tell what is real, what is fiction because it's all like messing with your head. And I'm just like,
I feel like you would really like the Lifetime suspense movies.
Yeah.
So
it's weird because Lifetime gets a bad rep, but I kind of do like their suspense movies. They're kind of good.
They got some stuff that pulls you in.
Some are a little too predictable though. Like if I can predict it from the beginning, like, yep, saw that happening. Yep, saw that happening. Like, oh, so annoying.
But sometimes the predictable movies can be fun. Like last night.
I mean, they can.
Last night, well, of course, I've seen it many times before. I was watching so many horror and scary movies. I went and I'm like, I gotta watch something different. And I watched The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
So that's a change of pace.
Well, I mean, it's so, even if you hadn't seen it, it's so predictable, but it was just fun. It was like a palate cleanser, like just to watch that. And
man, I haven't seen that in so long.
I hadn't either, but it gave me a good laugh. But talking about getting things going on your podcast, the things that you are all talking about. I've seen you talk about anything from video games to movies to board games, to cartoons, TV shows. Do you have, between the two of you, and it can be different answers, do you have something between all of those things that you maybe draws you in a little bit stronger, something that is closer to your heart that gets you excited? You can love all of them. It doesn't mean you don't like the other ones. But is there one of those that's kind of the one that you draw to first?
Oh man, that's a hard one.
You can do a pass. I said I never want to stump anything. But
I know. I'm like, there's like a few of them that's ringing off in my head because in our first season, we were thinking of topics to talk about, and we were like, oh, let's talk. And we were like, we'll do a Nickelodeon episode. So we're thinking of shows on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm a bigger Disney fan than I realized.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, what about this? And she's like, that's Disney. And then I'd be like, oh, what about this? And she's like, that's Disney. So I am like, and granted, I worked at Disney doing college program for like 4 months or something like that. But there is a part of me that's like a massive Disney fan. But other than that, like, there's certain aspects of like D&D that I really like just because I, ever since I can remember, I always was like, had a very vivid imagination. So like, I just like the idea of like coming up with this amazing story and whatever, and getting to like act it out with all your friends. Like, I don't know. I think that's really cool, but I don't know. That's a hard one because like other than those two, I'm like, there's a few of them, but I don't know.
Oh, that's okay. That's good. Megan, you got anything, one or two of them that you got kind of get drawn to?
I mean, if we're talking about like specifically about the podcast, I probably say like TV shows because I will gravitate towards talking about like Teen Titans and Powerpuff Girls, like I said, because those are the things that I grew up with. Those were kind of my first obsessions that like those two and Pokemon. I throw on the anime side for me because, I mean, technically I was a fan of anime from a kid with like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Powerpuff Girls being an honorary anime. But yeah.
Well, and Fruits Basket, because you're the one that introduced me to that.
Yeah, but I didn't know about that until I was in high school. I was just talking about like how I started.
Oh, but, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what Fruits Basket's one of the ones that kind of got me reintroduced to anime and like actually understanding anime. Because I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't know what the heck anime was. I didn't know that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were. It didn't make the connection that they were really a Japanese show, even though I know that they had Japanese connections, obviously. But yeah.
Well, and that's very similar to, I've been talking to some people, we're talking about movies and things we like to watch. It's kind of the same thing too, where I can watch a movie. I saw a movie maybe in the theater when I was 16 years old and I rewatched it now at my age after having kids grown and a family. That hits you differently. So I mean, it's the same type of thing where, yes, I'm old. Sorry.
No,
Megan's laughing.
I'm laughing.
Yes.
No, I was laughing because it made me think of my dad.
Okay. I was just like, Megan's just like, yep, you're old.
No, because I had a story that I could tell.
Well, you sure can if you want to. But like, first I was just going to say, like, when you said like, just not thinking of those as anime or, you know, how they were in relation to each other, when you watch them in your life can make a difference on how you feel towards them, or, you know, you can change your opinion about them too. So
that's very true. Yeah.
So Megan, you got a story that you get in trouble to tell, or do you need to not tell it? Or?
He's told the story, but
okay.
You're talking about going back and watching things after you've grown up and stuff. Me having more recently become the horror nut that I am, I've bonded over that with my dad because my dad likes horror movies. When the newer Pet Sematary, when the remake Pet Sematary came out, I was really excited about that because I thought it looked really cool. My dad was really excited about it because he really loved the original movie when he was a kid. He was freaked out by it, but so we rewatched, I watched it for the first time. He rewatched the original, and going back upon that rewatch for him, he wishes he never rewatched it because it's
of the original.
Cheesy. Yes, of the original. Because the original is so cheesy, and it's just
it's bad. I've seen like 15 minutes, and I can't.
I still like
barely a horror. I like it, but it's kind of barely a horror movie in my
gosh. But I'll tell you what, that scene though, no spoilers, but there's a scene with a son running towards a highway that tears me up more after I had kids than I saw it before, you know, kind of a thing. But cheesy or not, that still gets me.
All I know is I watched the first 15 minutes and I'm like, what am I watching?
So do you like,
I don't know.
So do both of you like the remake at all?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. I was just curious on that. Not a right or wrong, just curious on that.
See, that's a movie that I'm like, I would watch with her. Like, I wouldn't watch by myself.
Yeah.
That Cemetery isn't bad. Even the new, neither the original nor the new one is bad at all. It's definitely it's definitely one of King's lighter ones.
Okay.
I will say, of all the horror movies that I've seen with my grandpa as a kid, the one that freaked me out the most was It. I don't know why, but it was the movie It. And I'm talking about the original with Tim Curry. Now, such a funny story. So, okay, I'm 4 or 5 years old when I see this movie. Totally freaked out. And because of my imagination, I used to have this reoccurring dream that I was at this carnival. And I was in this like carnival tent. And this guy was like blowing up balloons, and he had like this, guest on the stage with him. And I'd look over and I'd see Tim Curry's Pennywise, and he would just have this creepy smile on his face, and he'd be like walking past, and I'd wake up in sweats from the age of 6 years old until like probably 8 years ago, and I'm 37 now, so and
I got a few years on you. You're okay.
so no,
I got
like, I would be
decade or so on you, so you're okay.
Not to show our age or anything.
Yeah.
But like, I would be so freaked out about this movie. Well, okay, I did not know that was Tim Curry, because again, I've seen this movie once, and I probably saw it a couple times with my grandpa. Yeah. But here I'm like in my late 20s, and growing up watching Home Alone, the one where he's in New York, saw Tim Curry, and I was like, I don't know why, but this guy freaks me out. so then I saw Clue. Again, I was like, why does this guy creep me out? And so then it wasn't until I was with my ex, and I'm like, I don't know what it is about that man, but he is so scary. And he's like, oh, you mean Pennywise? And I was like, what? And he goes,
didn't realize it was him.
He's the original Pennywise.
That's
and I'm
why
like,
he's creepy to me.
Oh, like I had epiphany, and I was like,
that
explains
a
lot. And so like, and he was in, I mean, I legit, until I was probably 30, 31, had not seen that movie because it freaked me out.
Yeah.
And everybody would always be like, you're scared of that movie? Like, really?
No,
like,
creepy.
You're not even,
that's creepy movie.
They're like, you're not even scared of like, all of the like Jason movies or anything like that. And I'm like, no, it's just that one. And I mean, it would be so bad I couldn't even see The Mask. Like, it would freak me out. And so when the newest it was coming out, my ex, like, he was like, we're gonna watch it, blah blah blah. So we watched it, and I was still a little freaked out, but I was like, okay, this ain't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So that was kind of nice. But yeah, I totally agree that there's just some movies you just don't rewatch. You just leave the thought of it in your brain, because I've watched so many movies that I'm like, what? Like, okay, Mannequin. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, like the romantic comedy one with Kim Cattrall?
Yes. I wish I would have rewatched that movie. It is so weird.
Oh, I remember my sister used to watch that all the time when we were kids. Like, she'd rent that all the time.
I loved that movie.
Kim Cattrall and Andrew McCarthy, was it?
Yeah, I think that's who it was.
I could say the wrong name, but
yeah, but
I haven't seen that in a long
But I've seen it like probably 10 to 15 times when I was a teenager. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen this in so long. I forgot what it was on. And I went to watch it, and I'm like,
no. Yeah, no.
What? I'm sorry, what? Hang on. What? And then I couldn't remember the plot of it for some reason, because it had been like 15 years since I seen it. And so when I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, this does not live up to what I had in my head. Like, it was so weird.
Sometimes it's weird to revisit it after a long time.
But yeah, there's just some movies that I'm like, I refuse.
Yep. Mika, so Mika and Kira, they have a podcast and a YouTube channel they got going on, and they are great at horror movie recommendations. And they said, no horror movies.
Okay,
we can give you a couple recommendations.
I will definitely have to check that out.
They will not steer you wrong. They are so good at their recommendations. Gizmos, so many questions, so little time. I know I skipped by a couple of them. I'm sorry.
That's so
sir.
funny.
Hey Andy, what's going on? Forgotten World of Movies saying, hey guys. Sorry if I missed you, but hopefully you're still in here. I know he's in the UK, but
oh, cool.
All right, I'm running.
Speaking of the UK.
Yeah, go for it.
So when I was there visiting back in February, I had to keep pinching myself, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is my life. Like, what's going on? I always wanted to go to London. And so I finally got to go there. And they actually have a store there that is very similar to V-Stock. And it's called HMV, I think. I think the original term was His Master's Voice, I think is what it was called. And it started out as a record shop, and then they just branched out to all things geek. And so they've got like tons and tons. Like I was this close to buying Ahsoka's lightsaber. And I was like, oh, I don't have $40. I need to get home. I can't get it. Like it was, oh man, it looked really awesome. But yeah, they have like a whole wall full of D&D stuff, and then they've got the pops and everything. Like it was pretty impressive. I was shocked. And so yeah, it was really cool.
No, that's cool. For sure. I'm gonna say hi quick to Dell, jumping in here saying hi to chat. Thank you, sir. You say I still like the original Pet Cemetery. Yep.
I'm sure if I like rewatched it, I would be like, oh, I like this, because my tastes have changed in the last 15 years, but yeah.
It's a fun watch. It's just my
maybe
point.
Maybe that'll be one we watch on Discord. I'm just saying.
There you go. There you go.
My dad's point was that he remembered it being much more scarier, if you want to go with our theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Then rewatching it was so cheesy.
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure.
That's wild.
There's so many other things that have come out since then that you probably, it kind of goes down the scariness level.
Right.
David is in here saying, "Hey Corey, I'm having pizza tonight for dinner and getting
fun.
ready for the Penguin TV show tonight."
Ooh, nice.
I hope you have fun with that.
I heard that's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, if it's just coming out, I haven't seen that at all. But Dell was saying, I saw Pet Cemetery in the theaters when it came out. The entire theater leaned forward and gasped when that truck came barreling down the road. I agree.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Oh my God.
It got me the first time I saw it, but when I saw it again after I had kids, and it hit on a different level. Man,
that's crazy.
Jim's in here. Say, hey, Jim, what's going on? Saying, hey, everyone, congratulations, Corey, on winning the contest on my channel. I did. This fine gentleman was doing a giveaway, and I got a digital code for Furiosa.
Ooh, nice.
So I have not seen it yet. It'll be a first time watch for me. So
that's cool.
Do either of you get out and watch, whether it's streaming or on in movie theaters or buying? Do you keep up with new movies coming out, or you find yourself digging into older ones that have already been out?
It depends.
What's that?
I will say,
I said we try.
Try, yeah.
her and her dad are better at it than me, because I get so busy, especially since I've been back in the country, because I help a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
And I'm their marketing person. So I'm so busy with that I don't have the time or the money to go see all the stuff. So her and her dad's really good about that. But it depends on what it is for me, at least. I know with her with Two Geeks, there's a lot of different types of stuff that they go and see in the theaters and whatever. But for me, I am really into the superhero stuff, and I love, like I said, a good murder mystery or a psychological thriller. The new Quiet Place had come out, and I went to go see that.
I need to see that. It's on one of the streaming services I have.
I'm not a fan. I know, don't come at me. Don't come at me.
I haven't seen it
yet. But it just, I don't know. It to me, it wasn't as good as the others. But stuff like that, I like to go see. And then we just did our episode on Beetlejuice, which, huge fan of that. Yeah. But for me, it's kind of hit and miss.
Sure. Megan, how about you? Any new ones you've gone out to see, or you hit or miss on those as well?
It depends on because I don't want to go by myself. I
go by myself all the time to movie theaters. People make fun of me, but I go all the time by myself.
I don't know. I like having somebody to talk to. But so it just depends on when I can kind of get people to go with. Mostly my parents. But the most recent we would have seen was Beetlejuice. So, but because I know that there's ones that I've missed.
But the new Beetlejuice, the second one, you went and saw that?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was great.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet. I kind of want to get out there to see it.
It was so
you
packed.
should definitely watch it in theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go see it in theaters. It was so packed in that theater that I wasn't able to get the same row that they did. Because I didn't order at the same time they did. And so I was like two rows down from you? I can't remember.
Something
But it
like
was
that.
hilarious because after we got done, I'm like looking for them and I'm going like this. And then finally I seen like her dad and them and I was like, oh, hey. But yeah, it was so packed. But it is definitely an experience in the theater, and that's what I love about some movies is like you're like, okay, I have to see this in theaters, because it just gives it a whole different feel.
Yeah. No, I'll have to. I really want to go out to see that one. But so Megan, you're talking about like digging into horror movies a lot more lately. Has there been any this year that you've gone to see in the theater, or a new one that you've seen, even streaming, that that really jumped out at you that you really liked?
I didn't get to see it in theater, but I watched it on streaming when it finally came. Actually, no. She rented it. My friend rented it through their theater app. I have a friend who lives in Canada.
Yeah.
And she rented the movie Imaginary. That's one of the most recent horror movies.
I have not seen that
Good.
one.
I don't even know if I've heard of that one.
I really like it. So the funny thing is, the marketing, it all came about. There was Imaginary and then there was If, which If is kind of a like more or less live action Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is what it sounds like.
It's family friendly type of movie. Yeah.
And then you had right at the same time,
my kind of movie
came out around the same time. You had a horror Imaginary Friend movie, which was just called Imaginary, and we watched that. We're probably going to rewatch it in October, but it was really good. I really liked that.
I wrote it down.
That's the only one
Check
that I've
out.
seen recently.
I don't know anything about that one. I wrote it down to check that out. But
It's a Blumhouse, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I watched a lot of Blumhouse.
They're really good
recently.
I almost
They're
think
really
that
good.
Speak No Evil that I just talked about watching.
I think that is Blumhouse too.
Yeah.
They've kind of really taken over the horror because it seems like almost every horror movie that comes out recently is them. They also did Five Nights at Freddy's, and I love Five Nights at Freddy's.
I still haven't seen that one yet.
I can't get into that, man, because I love stuffed bears, and I would be freaked the heck out. Like, it would give me PTSD.
But they're animatronics, not...
So I've seen...
I mean, come on.
I've seen Willy's Wonderland, but I have not seen Five Nights at Freddy. So have you seen Willy's Wonderland, the one with Nicolas Cage?
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I won't go near that one.
So that one came out before, but it's basically a ripoff of Five Nights. Well, what do you say ripoff? It's in the similar vein of Five Nights at Freddy.
Huh.
Yeah,
with Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Dialed to 11 for sure on that one.
On a regular, I'm not gonna lie, quote so many Nicolas Cage movies.
No, he definitely was on that one. So I'd be curious, Megan, if you liked Five Nights at Freddy, I'd be curious if you ended up watching Willy's Wonderland, what you thought about the two of them. So
I'll have to look for it.
Maybe that will be, if you can find it free, like don't pay money for it if you don't know if you want to see it, but like if you can find it free to watch sometime, I'd be really curious for you to watch that and compare the two and see what you think about the two of them.
I definitely am interested.
Yeah. If you want to see Nicolas Cage, dialing it up to 11, and it's the same type of setting. The animatronics and kind of what happens. It's in the similar vein. Similar vein.
Do you know when it came out? Because I wonder if they just beat them to the movie.
The Willy's Wonderland came out first, but I'm trying to look up the...
Right, but the game for FNAF has been... It's over like 10 years.
The game came out before. So Willy's Wonderland would have pulled from that game, I would have thought, for sure.
So they just beat them to the movie.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The game was out way before that Nick Cage movie was. 2021 is when Willy's Wonderland came out. So so the game was out for a long time, and they probably just jumped on it before somebody officially licensed it, kind of a thing.
Right.
Huh. Interesting. Because there's been a lot of different like fan games and more or less parody games for Five Nights at Freddy's.
Did you play the game at all?
I'm not good at games, but I've watched all the playthroughs.
Yeah.
That's how I got into it.
No, fair enough. I like playing games, but I'm not good.
I will say, if you want to play a creepy game, Catherine. Oh my Jesus. That movie or that game freaked me out. So I'm trying to think how long ago this was. So this was when Family Video was still a thing. They had it was on like the 360 or something, but it was called Catherine. And there was a lot of like, where you do like little puzzle stuff and whatever in there. But it was basically about this girl this guy that was like dating this girl, but then there was like this creepy girl that was coming after it. Like, I can't even explain it. It was so weird, but it was so creepy at the same time. And like, you didn't know if like this other girl was like a real person or like if this was in his head. Like, it was messed up. And so my ex and I were playing it, and like, I'm the type of person where I'm kind of like, if it's not World of Warcraft, I'm the type of person where I will play a game, and then when I get stuck on something, I'm like, ugh. And then I used to always pass it off to my fiance or whatever, and be like, "Your turn. I'm done. I can't." And so he would have to do it.
Get me past it.
Yeah. And so and the other thing in this game that I hated was I'm deathly afraid of heights. So, and I know it sounds silly because it's a game. But there would be a lot of parts where you would have to like jump onto this ledge, and then you have to like time it right and do all the things. And when they would fall, like it looked so real. My heart would be like
no.
ready to pound out of my chest. No. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. And I played that game, and I legit had nightmares for like a good 2 months after playing it. I was like, I'm never playing this game again. It is so creepy.
Well, I gotcha. No, for sure.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was insane. But I mean, it's hilarious because like all my friends make fun of me whenever I play video games, because like they'll try to get me to play Assassin's Creed and all this stuff, and I'm like, nah, I'm good, because you have to like look down and all. And my one friend, he was playing, and he's like, "Hey, check this out." I don't know why I listen to this man, but he's like, "Check this out." And he looks down, and then he just jumps. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, and he's just laughing, and I'm like, "You're a jerk."
So you probably weren't a fan of, did you ever see the movie Fall?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you won't like it probably then.
Probably not.
It's two ladies climbing to the top of a cell phone tower that's like been abandoned.
Yeah,
basically.
no, I could promise you. Yeah, you said cell phone tower, and I was like, no, I'm good. That reminds me of something that would come straight out of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't like that one for sure.
No.
Speaking of what I don't like, we got Gizmo in here saying me and Corey are old. We'll die soon. So
wow.
Probably sooner than other people.
Like in the next hour, or
I hope not. Hopefully not on stream. If I ever die, I hope it's not on live stream, because I don't want it to be like repeated to people everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this old guy dying.
It'd be like Mindhunters. Have you ever seen that movie?
No. Oh, wait. Wait.
So it's where they're FBI agents.
Yes, I have. LL Cool J.
Oh my gosh, that movie is insane.
Is that the one with LL Cool J?
Speaking of creepy movies,
yeah. No, I like that one.
I love this movie so much. I love this movie so much, but it's so creepy.
I have a DVD of that one.
That movie is like, I can only watch that every 5 years because it freaks me out.
No, that is a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my gosh.
Jim was saying, "Mannequin, nothing's gonna stop us now." Yeah, the song.
Yes. Literally every time I hear that song, I think of that movie.
and then I'm like, Mannequin is so bad.
It is so bad. Well, and what's his face that plays in there? I can't think of his name. I completely spaced on his name. I think he wound up going into like the fashion industry or something. I don't know. I can't remember. I get my people mixed up, but he's in there as like the he's the one that like dresses up all the mannequins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but anyways, so his character was the funniest out of them all, but also like super weird, and I'm just like, how did I like this movie?
Oh no, I remember. I need to watch it again. It's been a long time.
The ending is the worst.
Oh,
like, oh my gosh, the ending. I'm just like, what? That's not possible.
Well, so I'd have to watch it again to be honest with you.
Yeah, because like she's coming down the conveyor belt. Spoiler alert for those that haven't seen it. But she's coming around down the thing, and then like she like turns into a mannequin, and then she turns back, and then there's like an arm that goes somewhere, and you're like, what?
All right, that's my homework.
That's a movie I won't watch.
I gotta watch again.
Weird.
And Megan's like,
it's
nope,
so weird.
I'm good.
I don't like mannequins. Mannequins creep me out.
Oh, well, then you won't like that.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not a movie that, yeah.
I'm going to say I had a bacon. Parkinson here is, we'll say, what's up, Corey? Hello, everyone listening in as we drive home from practice. Thank you, sir. Oh, cool.
Nice.
If I miss anybody, I apologize. I'm running
Looks
through.
like there's...
That's life, but not as we know it. William, how we doing? New Beetlejuice is okay, but not as good as the first. I've heard that, but I haven't seen them both. So,
I mean, you're always going to be like, the first is like the initial, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a classic. So,
yeah.
Especially one that came out, but especially with such a year.
The huge gap between. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if that is what gave them the push to do it with Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick with that big of a gap, and how well Maverick did. If we're going to see
that movie wrecked me. The second one. Oh my God.
But like I wonder how well that did, if it's going to spur on a few more of these like super late sequels. Or maybe it's completely unrelated. I don't know for sure. But all right. I'm trying to keep track of time. I know we're hitting our limit. I wanted to ask a couple more things. Are we good to hang on for just a little bit longer?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
We're having fun.
Cool. I don't want to take you longer than you want to, but I'm watching the little timer.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I feel like I'm under pressure now.
We can talk for days. We can talk for days. Trust
that's
me.
my problem. I don't shut up. So that's a problem. So one of the streams I saw with the two of you jumping in on Two Geeks and the Microphone was talking about board games, your love of board games and some recommendations of those. And that's something that I had fun getting into with my kids. Some got into more complicated ones than others, but either way, simple, whatever level they were, I had a fun time with them, but I'm still pretty new to it. But I was kind of curious. And I know it's on the spur of the moment, so no pressure if you don't have anything. But if you were to talk to somebody that was new, that says that I want to get into board games, I've never done it before. If you had an adult, if you had anything that you'd be like, this would be something you should dip your toe into, and it will get you excited. Something you like that would not overly complicated where they'd get turned off, but one that I don't know. Sorry, if you don't, we can pass and go on to another thing, but I'm just kind of curious if you have any that you'd throw out to encourage somebody to try to get into board games.
I mean, I feel like it depends on what they like. But if they're just like saying in general, for me, I would probably say either Catan or not Catan. That's definitely not a starter one.
No.
The reason why I said that is because it was around the same time that I also learned to play this other game that I'm getting ready to say. But Ticket to Ride is fairly easy, because literally you get these train tickets and you're trying to complete your route. Like, it's super, super simple. It does tend to be a little bit long, so that's why I'm like, it depends on the person, and some of the stuff they say. But like Ticket to Ride, I think is a pretty easy one. And what was the other one? I had another one and I'm trying to remember what it was. Lotus. Lotus is the game that Megan introduced me to. Super simple, and you're literally just completing flowers and trying to get like the most points and all that kind of stuff. And then probably the other one that I would say, if you're into dice games, is Farkle. So that game, it's Farkle, I think.
K-L-E.
That game's,
K-L-E, yeah.
Yeah,
You
that one. Right. So that one's really easy, and what's really cool is there's a local, it's kind of like a dive bar and grill type place that's close to us that my ex and I mean, you know, we still meet up every so often and like go to this place, but his parents got me into like playing board games and stuff like that again, because I used to play it as a kid. And so we would have like a bag of dice that we could just carry around for, you know, like, why not? And so we had went there and they had like a cup that had like dice in there, so that way you could play like Yahtzee or something like that, you know, whenever you're sitting there with your family. And we started playing Farkle. Well, I'm not even kidding you. A month later on the sheet, it was like Yahtzee on one side, Farkle on the other. And it's so easy because like, you know, it's like the number one is like 100 points, and it's like a game of Risk, and it's super easy to learn, and it could be as short or as long as you want. So I feel like if I was to like pick like right out of the gate, it would be those. But I mean, there's so many, you know, and there's so many different types. It just depends on the person. And what kind of stuff you like. Like I'm very artsy, so there's a game called Canvas, and you're basically coming up with an art picture or something like that, and then you like get points off that. So it just depends.
I'm on mute.
Megan.
Yeah, interesting. I'm pretty much a professional at this point. I mute myself and then forget to take it off. Megan, what do you got? You got any that you'd throw out to suggest to people to check out to try to get their spur on their love of board games?
Well, I mean, my absolute favorite board game is Clue. Always has been, always will be.
Yeah.
So
it's a classic.
Clue's really easy to learn.
Oh yeah,
it's a classic. It is not as fight-inducing as some other games. Monopoly.
Yeah,
you will never catch me playing Monopoly. I hate that game so much.
I hate Monopoly.
So I mean, Clue would be one of mine, and then I would also go with a game called Splendor. It's a kind of a market game, but it's not really a market. You're trading. You're trying to collect gems, and they come on little coin tokens, and it's just a really simple and quick to learn kind of trading game. It's also one of my favorite games. It's really fun. I don't have the physical form of that game yet. I need to get it, but I have it on my computer and my phone. But
so you can still play it, right? Easily.
Yeah. But otherwise, I would agree with Ticket to Ride is a really good introduction game, especially since there's a couple of different versions of it too. So if you wanted to get a younger audience, there is a kids version of it, which honestly, for the most part, it could be worked with kids. I would assume the kids version is just shorter.
It is. I have it, and it's basically the American version, except they've not really dumbed it down, but they've made it so that way there's less options and stuff like that, so it's not overtly complicated for younger people.
Yeah, because I think the most complicated part about that game is the routes on the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And personally, I think that it's really great for a family to play because you're teaching your kids geography. Like a lot of like, so this is really funny. The first one I ever got was the Europe version, and I didn't realize it till I got it home, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And so there's like Halifax and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, where the heck is that at? So then when I went to London and I see like some of these names, I'm like, oh, I know that.
That's funny.
So yeah, but I mean, they've got like so many renditions, and for the most part, it's like really easy because it's really just geography and counting, and like I think it's kind of cool. So yeah,
cool. I love that.
But yeah, that's one of the things that her and I like really. I mean, and like she said earlier, we've known each other for a really long time, but one of the things that when we were like because we would had went to church together, and then like when I had left there, and then we reconnected, and just got to talking and all that kind of stuff, we realized that's like our like biggest thing that I think we have in common is that we absolutely love board games. And so and even last season, well, it was last year. But we got to play like a couple board games, like small ones, and so that was kind of fun. And I, coming off the tail of like watching like Critical Role and stuff, Will Wheaton actually used to have a show called Tabletop, I think.
Yep.
And so that I really, really love because I think 90 to 95% of my games I got was because I saw it on that show. Because I had seen it in our game store, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. It sounds complicated, and I'd be like, let me see if Will Wheaton played this, and so like that's how I wind up getting a lot of my games, and that's kind of the idea that I wanted to do for our show, which we may do a couple episodes later on down the road, where we're play testing games and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched that quite a few times, actually, with my son when he was younger, because we started buying some board games.
Yeah.
And then I got out of my comfort level of knowledge and complexity of board games. And we started watching his YouTube videos on some. So I specifically remember one of them we bought, and then we sat down and watched. The video was for Pandemic.
Oh yeah.
I freaking love that game.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I didn't know.
Pandemic is one of my favorites.
So,
I had never heard of that game until I watched his episode.
So we watched one of that episode of his to help learn to play that game. So my son and I were sitting there with the board game, playing the YouTube and like pausing and backing it up,
That's so funny.
But that was a cool thing that they did with those board games, because some of them got pretty complex, and to see somebody actually do a playthrough, that helps. I'm very much a visual learner.
Yep, same.
That's how I am too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're right. Yeah, right there. So visual over reading. And so I can have the instructions in front of me, but if I had somebody like Will Wheaton doing that visually, playing out a game, that went way further for me to learn the game than sitting reading the instructions. So
yeah, and like I said, I mean, I think the very first game that I had bought after watching his show was Ticket to Ride, and I was just like, oh, this isn't as complicated as it seems. Or
there's a PC game of that too, right?
Yeah, it's actually really, really fun.
Sorry, I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, I
Steam
know
has
you can get it on like your iPad or
Steam actually has a lot of
Steam
board games on computer.
It's Steam that I have that on.
Yep.
Yeah. My son and I, we started grabbing a bunch of games out of Steam. They'd have all their sales each.
Yeah, they have Ticket to Ride. They have
we got that on there.
Yeah.
Splendor's on
they
there.
Even have.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I haven't played that one, but I'll have to check it out. I wrote it down.
The other one. Have you ever played Legendary?
No.
Okay, so it's takes a little bit of time to like set up and everything, but it's basically the one that I've always played is the like Marvel superheroes. And so you have all your heroes, you have your villains, and you're trying to defeat the villains and try to defeat the mastermind and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's really, really fun, but it's like a huge board and it does take some time to play. But like once you have kind of dipped your toes in the whole board game thing and whatever, it's a really, really good game to play. So, and there's a couple games that I saw when I was in London. So I went to my very first board game cafe, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And they had a couple games there that at some point, right now, the shipping from in and out of the United States is a little pricey. But whenever I get the money, I'm going to send a message to the owners and say, hey, so I finally have some money and whatever. And I want you, next time you do a shipment, I would love it if you guys could ship me these type of games or something, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I remember playing a bunch with my son where we played Risk quite a bit.
Oh, I hate that game.
But then then he got into Axis and Allies. And that's like a different level. Like I could hang with Risk, or maybe not everybody would agree with me. I could hang with Risk. Axis and Allies went to another level where I'm like, I'm sorry, bud.
Well,
like, I mean, might be out on that
think
one.
About it, honestly, if you think about it, Axis and Allies is kind of like playing Warhammer. Like, let's be honest. It's on that kind of...
And I haven't played that, so...
Yeah, no.
But it got complicated where I just was like, this is
kind of... I look at it and I'm like, I'm good. And I consider myself like a massive nerd when it comes to tabletop games, but I'm like, no, that's where I bow out.
Yeah, no, that was tough for me. I didn't compete with that one. And we always would play chess. We'd always play chess too together until he started beating me, and then I stopped playing it with him. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Funny.
But we did play chess.
That's so funny. I have one signature move in chess, and that's it.
But that's the old school board game, right? You know,
it really is. It really is. That and backgammon.
Yep. So, all right, a couple more and I'll wrap it up for you because I know I'm pushing the time limit for you all, and I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I'm having fun hanging out and talking to y'all. But
this is awesome.
I will wrap her up here. But one thing I was going to ask, if you could have a podcast, and it could be different between the two of you, but if you could have a podcast with any fictional character.
Ooh.
Who would you like to have a podcast with? So it could be movie, it could be TV, movie,
that's a hard one.
Video game, anime, whatever. And we can even think about it and come back to it. But I'm kind of curious, if you had a fictional character you'd like to sit down and have a podcast to talk to, who you'd have a fun time.
Megan, you're going to have to go first. I have like 5.
That's a hard question.
Well,
that is a hard one.
And I never want to, like I said, I don't want to ever stump you. So if it's one you can't do right now, we can circle back. Maybe we can do this another time, but don't feel pressure. But I'm just kind of curious.
I already know my 5.
You're 5.
I'm 5.
You said 1.
I'm trying to come up. I'm trying to come up with 1, and you're like, I got 12. Well, Angie, if you got 5,
I love reading.
Okay, so what's one of your 5 that you got?
Okay, sorry, my camera's being goofy. No, I read a lot. Well, I used to read a lot, and then it kind of tapered off, and now I'm starting to get back into it. So, like, oh my gosh, that's a hard one for me to just pick one. But
doesn't mean it's your favorite. Just one of the many.
Yeah.
You're not picking favorites.
Yeah. So, oh dang. See, I don't know, man. That's hard. Like I can't. Like that's like saying, like, who's your favorite child?
I know. That's a hard one. So when I pose questions like that, it doesn't mean it's your favorite and you don't like any of the others.
Yeah.
So even tomorrow we could talk and you could have a different one, and I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like, oh, well, you said this one yesterday. No,
Right.
because that's like saying, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, well, okay, today this is the one I really want to watch, but
Right.
tomorrow could be a different one, and so it doesn't mean
Right.
you hate the other one, but
Yeah.
just one of your favorites. It doesn't have to be top. You're not saying it's your all-time
Yeah,
favorite, the
yeah.
only one you would ever want to talk to, but wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. I really wasn't trying to
No,
stop
that's
you guys.
okay. That's just like, because I'm like, I don't
But
know.
it was flipped
It would
around.
just
I probably would be
depend.
here too, being like, oh, what would I say? I don't know.
So like immediately out of the gate, like the first one that I thought of, and that's only because I've been on the Stranger Things kick, is either Eddie or Dustin from, because like there's so many different things you could talk about in there. But then also like I lean back to or I think back to like the Never Ending Story and some of the like characters from there, like oh my gosh, like there's so much you could talk about with like some of those characters. So, or if I'm gonna go comedy, it would have to be any of the characters from The Holy Grail, because I love that movie so much. I love that movie so much.
You made me snort. I always get a good snort in at one point or another with the live stream, but I just did that with it. Yeah,
I probably
merely a flesh wound.
Yeah, like
you talk to the Dark Knight
maybe at least once a week.
Yep.
Oh my gosh,
a funny one. Megan, you got any that come? Okay,
I have one for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind, just because I'm obsessed with the show, but so my choice would be Alistair from Hazbin Hotel, simply because he's the radio demon.
I knew you were gonna pick it.
I am in love with that show. It came out in January. It's on Amazon Prime, and I will talk about it any chance I get because I am in love with that show.
What's the show called again?
It's called Hazbin Hotel. It's the Princess of Hell trying to redeem sinners' souls, and I'm just obsessed with it. The pilot came out on YouTube in like 2019, and I don't know how I stumbled onto it, but I stumbled onto the pilot and have been a fan of it ever since. And they just got the rights they just got it on the air through Amazon Prime in January.
I have not seen that. You got another fan right here, Tiana, saying,
"Oh, nice."
So
nice. I changed my answer though. I changed your answer. Thought of something. I just thought of something.
Nope.
From the Discworld.
Okay.
Have you ever seen any of the Discworld movies? The books are like way better, but it's Terry Pratchett. Oh my gosh, you have to read the Discworld. I like it better on like Audible, but Death and when Terry Pratchett wrote his character, he is hilarious because he's trying to understand humans.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It is so funny. And so there's I'm trying to remember which book it is, but he's like come to collect the soul of this person, and they're like just going on and on and on, and all of a sudden he goes, "I'm sorry." He was like, "I wasn't paying attention. That was very rude of me. What did you just say?" It's just so random. And I'm like, yes, okay, that's yeah. I just thought about that and I was like, nope, it's gotta be him. There's like a movie where he plays the guitar in a band. Like it's like
I'll have to check that out.
Crazy. Yeah.
It almost makes me think of Discworld.
Yeah. Discworld. And it starts off in all the movies where it's saying it's like 3 elephants on top of a giant turtle traveling through space or something goofy like that. And so if you start off, I definitely would recommend doing the Hogfather. That was my first introduction of Terry Pratchett's stuff. And it's obviously like Father Christmas and Santa Claus and stuff, but it's a hog. And he vanishes. And so to preserve Christmas, Death becomes Santa Claus.
Okay.
It is so funny. There's a scene in there where he's handing out presents, and he gives this little girl a I feel like it was like a rapier or something like that. And the mom's like, "You can't give her that. She'll poke her eye out." And he's like, "Well, that would be a very good lesson then, wouldn't it?" It is hilarious. So yeah, you have to check it out. It's awesome.
I don't know why the first one kind of reminded me of when I was back in probably, junior high or probably high school.
Mm-hmm.
There was an author, Piers Anthony, and he
I've heard of that.
he did a string of books that all did like, each book was like, like death, time,
Yeah.
Going through and there was one that was called On a Pale Horse.
I feel like I've heard of that.
It might be one of those things that I go back and read it now and not think too much about it, but at the time I liked it. But when you were talking about it's a man taking over the role of death and stumbling through that process of like,
oh my gosh,
how to do it and like gather the souls and transport them correctly. And
right.
Anyway, the first one, when you were talking about that, I don't know, I started thinking about that, but
I think
it might be one of those movies.
Father.
It might be one of those, like what you said with the movie, where you go back to watch it and be like, that wasn't quite as good as I thought it was. And now I'm like throwing it out there and you'll be like, that was horrible.
Yeah, I'll be like, why in the world did I listen to him?
Don't listen to Corey. Don't listen to Corey.
But no, like I think I quote Hogfather at least 3 times a week. And I watch it every single Christmas. Like it's a must. And I always like to watch it like Christmas Eve, just because the way that the movie goes and stuff, I just really love it.
Yeah.
But no, it is a classic. And I'm sorry. I
gotta throw that up there.
Die on this hill.
No,
I will die on this hill. I hate Monopoly. It is the worst.
So, I am right there with you.
Yep, tabletop with Will Wheaton that you were talking about.
Yep. But yeah, so and like there's so many good characters in the Discworld, and so speaking of Tim Curry, he's in one of the movies. I can't think of her name right now. I always want to call her from her character in Downton Abbey, but the oldest sister from there is in there. Like there's tons of people that play in the movies. So yeah, it's really good. But it's Terry Pratchett is the author name. Yeah, so it's really good.
Collector Movie Man's throwing out questions for you now.
Oh,
Do
cool.
either of you are fans of Game of Thrones or House of the Dragons? And it's okay if you're not.
So
I've not seen either one, so
I tried so hard to get into Game of Thrones. I could not get through the first episode. I do like the wolves, though. I love the dire wolves.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing I know about it.
I don't know. I had a love-hate relationship with the Game of Thrones because it was like parts that I really, really loved, and there was other parts where I was like, why am I watching this show? And as far as reading the books, like I like to read a lot of, I say shorter, but like the thickest book I think I've ever read is the very last book of the Twilight series, which we're not going to go there.
That's another one I could not get into to save my life.
Yeah, but like all the Harry Potter books I've wanted to read, but they're just so long, and I'm like, I don't have that kind of attention span.
Yeah. The Harry Potter books aren't long.
It's all relative, right? It's like what's long to somebody is short to another person.
No, legit. But I could never read the books, but as far as the show, I can't even remember why I wanted to watch it. There was like a certain character in there, I think, that I was like, oh, okay, sure, why not? And then like I'm watching the show and I'm just like, why am I watching this? But like the newest one I couldn't.
Was it Jason Momoa? Was he in? I think he was in Game of Thrones.
I think yes. I think that's why I wanted to see it, was because I like Jason Momoa. And so yeah. It was so weird, though. I don't know. It was interesting.
I haven't
I
seen
don't
any
think
of
I've
them.
ever heard The Thing.
Yeah, Larry was asking if you ever played the board game.
I've
for
never
The
heard-
Thing.
I might have to.
But if my dad hears about that, he's going to add that to his list
Yeah,
of games
he
he
will.
wants.
He will.
So your dad's so I was talking about the podcast. I heard you two talking about board games with your dad, and I got it. The Halloween one.
you have
is
the
one that they
Halloween?
talked
No
about.
way. Cool.
It was
Nice.
because of that. And I have not opened it
The
yet. I got to
episode?
find somebody to play it with me. So maybe I'll come down, visit, go to that shop,
Yeah,
and we can
Maybe we'll do a road
crack
trip.
that thing
and-
open and learn how to
Yeah.
play it. So
That's so funny.
we could do that. Prince was saying Detroit Become Human is underrated. That's
That's a
a
good
good
game.
one.
Yes.
Yeah. On PlayStation.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good
I've
one.
never
This-
played it, but I've watched the
This
playthroughs.
game.
Oh, it's a good one.
This
Yeah.
game changed my life. I'm just saying. Like I
Well,
kind
That
of want
tugs
to
at the heartstrings too.
What's that?
Yes.
That's a game that tugs at the heartstrings too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it reminded me so much of growing up. I had a lot of the choose your own adventure books that you'd read
Yes.
through,
Yeah.
I
where
love
you'd be
those
like,
so
"What
much.
do you choose?" And you go to that next page.
Yeah.
That
Love
game
those so much.
felt like a new version of that to me, and I had a lot
Yeah.
of fun with it. Some of that nostalgia where your choices made a difference on how that
Oh,
story
yeah,
played
totally.
out.
That
And-
and Life is Strange.
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Don't
What's
even
the
get me
other one?
started
There-
on that game.
I don't know the newer
There's
one.
a second one. There's a second
Yeah,
one.
there's
too.
a
I
second
can't think of the name.
I
I
haven't
don't know
played
what
the
it's
second
called.
one. Life is Strange is a really good one too.
In the music in there, can we? Oh my gosh. I love the music in Life is Strange. It is so good.
Oh,
But yeah, Detroit Become Human. I legit like. Oh man, that game was. Whew, goodness.
Got
yeah.
some Larry's giving some love to Risk as well here. So.
I mean, I just don't have the bandwidth for that. Like, I'm sitting. My uncle tried to get me into Risk because he loves.
If you don't have the bandwidth for Risk, don't look at Axis and Allies. Because that's
No,
like
I'm
the next
saying I
level.
look at that game and I legit have PTSD. I'm just like, no.
So I probably missed it here, Prince. I'm sorry. He says, I forgive you, Corey. You missed my trademark question for the first time. So I'm assuming the question is your I would say your serotonin watch. You know, like a movie or TV show that you would watch that just gives you a good feeling. Like if you need to get lifted up,
Man.
that you could go to, whether you've seen it once or 100 times. It's something you can go back to that you're in the dumps
This
and
Is
it
Us.
gives you that boost, you know, that you can feel good about things.
Yep. I would say This Is Us.
This Is
It's
Us.
so visceral. Like I watch this and it's one of those that I will bawl my eyes out on every single episode. But at the same time, like, so growing up, I had a crappy childhood or whatever. And so my like go-to show was Growing Pains
Oh, that's a
with
good
Kirk
show.
Cameron. And oh my gosh, that was like my TV family. And so anytime I would watch a show, I would always be like, that was my comparison, is like, there's just no show that's ever going to compare to that, until I saw This Is Us. And it's just so relatable and so raw. And so for me, that's the one that I'm like, that's my go-to. There's a lot of shows, but my number one is definitely This Is Us.
Yeah.
I definitely thought you said movie, but
Well, no, movie
Oh,
or
did you
TV.
say movie? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no.
sorry.
No, TV show works too. Like whatever gives
My
you that.
brain just went to that. as
No,
soon
no,
as
no.
you said it.
I honestly think that question could work for anything. So whether it's a book or TV or movie or, you know, whatever, go with whatever gets you going that picks you up.
if we're going with show, I'm going back to Hazbin Hotel because I'm again
Okay.
obsessed with it, and it's
Yeah.
a musical. It's a musical type show, so there's like 2 songs per episode, and I adore the soundtrack. I actually just got the vinyl, which I'm very happy about.
nice.
Nice.
But if we're talking movies, my absolute favorite movie is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The original
Yes.
with Gene
The
Wilder.
original?
Hands
Okay,
down.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Hands
Yep.
down.
As much as I love Johnny Depp, I cannot stand his version.
Mm.
I know it's
Gene
closer to
Wilder
the
is
book,
awesome.
but
Gene
Wilder
is
is-
awesome.
Gene Wilder is and always will be Willy Wonka for me.
Willy Wonka, yep. Even like nowadays, like I'll call him Willy Wonka. I won't call him Gene.
But I'd go with that. And then if you want a slightly more creepier note, Sweeney Todd.
Oh, yes.
That put you in a good mood?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Both of those are my top movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the other thing. Board games and Sweeney Todd. When like we started like actually hanging out and stuff like that all the time and everything. I found out that she liked Sweeney Todd too, and I was like, my people. Like I was like, oh my God, I love that movie so much. But yeah, if we're talking about movies, it's going to be that one, and then my only second one after that is While You Were Sleeping, because it's just a feel good holiday piece. And I mean, I kind of have to say that because how everybody likes to watch It's a Wonderful Life around Christmas. So that's my It's a Wonderful Life. I got this in my head. Again, ADHD people. My uncle was like, yeah, I usually watch from December 1st to Christmas Day. I will watch every single day It's a Wonderful Life. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I like it. And I watch it every year for Christmas, but I don't watch it every single day. So I decided I'm going to pick my own movie. I picked While You Were Sleeping. And I watched that movie so many times. I had to get another DVD because I ruined it. My parents, anytime I'd be like, you want to watch a movie? And it was around Thanksgiving or Christmas, they'd be like, what movie are we watching? They could hear the theme song before anything would show on the screen, and they knew what it was. That's how many times I've seen that movie. I can quote it line for line.
Well, and I think that's a fun thing too, where you can have different ones too, and maybe a different day one would be the pick me up one over a different day. It just depends what you needed. So like last night, even I was doing a big horror run of movies, and I've had a busy, nothing bad, not woe is me, but just
a
week.
Life.
Yeah, it was a week. And I wanted something to pick me up a little bit. And I was going through and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this one in a long time. And I watched The Wedding Singer with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. Nice. It was like silly, fun, lighthearted. And it was just one that, I don't know, picked me up a little bit, gave me a little bit of a chuckle. And
I'm a huge Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler fan. Like I love seeing movies with them two together. Like, I don't know what it is, but they have such good chemistry.
They do. Yeah, they've done a few of them together.
50 First Dates.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So funny. Hi, I'm Tom. Hi, I'm Tom. That's so funny. Yep. Oh my gosh.
I need to go. That's been one that's been a forever. That'd almost be a first time watch for me again. You ever have some of those movies? You've seen them before. You've watched it, but it's been so long that if you go back to watch it, I'd almost count it as a first time watch again because it's been so long. Yeah. And I could probably have forgotten some stuff. So, okay, I'm going to run through some chats, ask one more question, and then we'll get you out of here. Cause I know I'm taking you way longer than you wanted to.
We're almost hitting that 2 hour mark.
Yep. And you said I
told you we would do it.
You said hour and a half to 2 hours. And I'm like, Larry saying I'm going to be reading On a Pale Horse. Sounds super interesting. Thanks for just so you know, it's probably young adult reading with nothing wrong with that, but that was young adult probably in early to mid 90s. So take it with a grain of salt. I had fun with it. But,
nice.
Larry was saying there's also a Shining board game.
I love them. Okay, I'm gonna have to find that. I'm gonna have to find
these horror board games.
Shining.
Yeah, I know. I got to check them out. But Johnny was saying, Corey, you got to be bringing that game to the meetup. I'll do that, sir. I'm jumping through.
I'm a massive Shining fan.
Isabel, what's up? Saying hi, hey. Thanks for jumping in here. We're just kind of wrapping up. I'm taking too much time of these two ladies here, and this my MO. Everybody jokes about it. I always go that's
so funny,
way too long. But
so what you need is somebody being the filler while you're going through all the comments.
Yeah, or something. But it's always fun to do that. But okay, I'm gonna wrap it up because I know I'm taking you past your limit here. So I apologize for
officially
that.
hit the 2-hour mark.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Yeah, no, this was fun.
I know it was a lot of fun. It's always fun to hang out with friends and talk about this stuff. You don't ever have to twist my arm to do that. But I know you're taking a little bit of break, but you're ramping things up a little bit with the podcast that can be coming up here. Do you have anything you want to throw out, things you're thinking about or working on that you want your people to watch for, to jump out on your channel, your podcast?
Really, it's just the holidays are coming up, so Halloween, and the whole, autumn, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, is my favorite time of the year. And so basically for the whole month of October, we're going to be watching all kinds of movies and talking about them, from Sweeney Todd, like we were talking about, to some of the Disney classics where it was the made for TV movies or whatever. Yeah, the Disney specials. We're going to be doing that. And I'm so excited because, I mean, like I said, if I had to pick like a genre that I'm like, if I only had to watch this for the rest of my life, it would probably be murder mystery and like psychological thrillers. And so that's we're going to be talking about that, and then maybe on our Discord channel I'll be trying to dip my toes in some horror movies. but yeah, so that's what I'm super excited for. I don't know about you, Meg, but like those are some of the fun things that we're going to be doing in the next month, so that's pretty cool.
Megan, you got anything big you want to try to hit on coming up sometime on the channel? Besides getting Angie into horror movies?
I'm mostly excited about October too. So that's October's my favorite month.
I'm not trying to. Okay, I always say this. I'm not trying to drag you out longer than you want to be here. But do you have a go-to October movie you got to watch every year?
That's a good question.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd. Oh, nope. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nope. You already.
Sweeney Todd and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay. Oh, that's me too. I'll watch that a couple times. I'll watch that around Halloween and Christmas. So.
Oh, me too. It is a both. It is not a Halloween or Christmas. It is both.
It's both. You can do either
one
of them.
Halloween miss.
Halloween miss.
Yep, absolutely. So no, I appreciate it. So I'll tell everybody that's been hanging out with us. I appreciate anybody jumping out in the chat, spending all the time or part of the time with us, or doing a replay. I have the links out in the description of this video. So if you want to check out the YouTube, Instagram, I have the Twitch, the Geek Girls Podcast, please go out and check them out. Just like my channel, it's hard to get out there and to be seen. So go check it out. You might find your next favorite channel. And it doesn't cost you anything. Go click the little sub and the bell and check out some of their stuff, and go from there. And you never know what you got. But Angie and Megan, if you'd hang on for just a second after we go off live, I'm going to talk to you just really quickly. Won't keep you too much longer, I promise. But and we got here right now. We got Johnny saying sub to both right now.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
No, it's always cool to have people cross over. Like you said, not everybody's going to be for everybody, but you don't know until you come across them. So just check them out. It doesn't cost you anything. Check out some of their stuff, and you might find somebody you really want to follow, and, go from there.
We apologize in advance for some of the shenanigans we get into on season 1.
That's probably like all of our channels for sure. So, but again, Angie, Megan, thank you very much for hanging out. Let me take you way longer than you wanted to be. And
hey, I'm just saying, I called it 2 hours, man. I said we always go 2 hours, and I don't know why.
I don't shut up either, so it takes a long time. So, but everybody in the chat, again, thank you all part of the time or replay. Appreciate every bit of the time that you're willing to spend with us. And we'll talk to you all here real soon. So thanks again, everybody.